The air in courtroom 4B is thick. It's heavy with unspoken words and resentment. On one side sits Ayame. She's a picture of composure, dressed in a simple, elegant navy blue suit. Her posture is ramrod straight, her chin held high. She doesn't look at the man sitting across the aisle. She doesn't need to. Her focus is on the future, on the freedom that feels so close yet so far away. Beside her, Samantha, her lawyer, shuffles papers with the quiet confidence of a seasoned professional. Samantha has seen it all before. She knows how these things go. She has a plan, and she intends to execute it with precision. This isn't just a case for her. It's a mission to restore a life that was systematically dismantled by deceit. Across the aisle, the atmosphere is entirely different. It's one of nervous energy and barely concealed panic. Daiki fidgets in his chair, his expensive suit looking rumpled and ill-fitting on his tense frame. He keeps shooting glances at Ayame, a mix of anger and disbelief in his eyes. He can't seem to comprehend how he ended up here, his carefully constructed world crumbling around him. Next to him, his lawyer, a young man named Mr. Peterson, looks completely out of his depth. He nervously adjusts his tie for the 10th time, his papers trembling slightly in his hands. He seems more like a defendant than a defender, overwhelmed by the sheer gravity of the evidence Samantha is about to unleash upon the court. The judge, a stern woman with sharp eyes and a no-nonsense demeanor, enters the room. "All rise," the bailiff calls out, his voice echoing in the silent room. The sound of shuffling feet is the only noise. The judge takes her seat, her gaze sweeping over the parties before her. She has a reputation for being tough but fair. She doesn't suffer fools, and she certainly doesn't have time for theatrics or lies. She looks at Ayame, then at Daiki, her expression unreadable. She picks up her gavel, its weight a symbol of the power she wields. This is her domain. Here, the truth is supposed to prevail, and she is its ultimate arbiter. The tension in the room ratchets up another notch as she prepares to begin the proceedings.
We are here today to hear the divorce petition of Ayame Tanaka versus Daiki Tanaka. Ms. Hayes, you may begin.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Samantha rises smoothly to her feet. She gives a respectful nod to the judge, her demeanor calm and collected. She walks to the lectern, her every movement deliberate and purposeful. She doesn't need to raise her voice. Her power comes from the facts, from the mountain of evidence she has painstakingly assembled. Daiki watches her, a sneer forming on his lips. He still believes he can talk his way out of this. He believes he is smarter than everyone in the room. He is about to learn in the most public and humiliating way possible just how wrong he is.
Your Honor, we are here today because my client Ayame has suffered. She has endured years of emotional abuse, infidelity, and financial deception at the hands of her husband, Daiki. These are not mere accusations, these are facts. And today we will prove each and every one of them beyond a shadow of a doubt. We will present evidence that is clear, concise, and undeniable. We will show this court a pattern of behavior so destructive that the only reasonable conclusion is to grant this divorce and award my client the damages she so rightly deserves.
She turns her gaze slightly towards Daiki, who scoffs audibly.
Mr. Tanaka, you will remain silent unless spoken to.
Daiki shrinks back in his chair, his bravado momentarily deflating.
The evidence will paint a picture of a man who lived a double life. A man who systematically drained the marital assets to fund his selfish pursuits. A man who lied to his wife, his friends, and even to himself. We have financial records, we have text messages, we have photographs. And most damning of all, Your Honor, we have his own words recorded confessing to his actions.
Objection, Your Honor. This is speculation. My client is a respected businessman.
His voice trails off as Samantha turns her cool gaze upon him.
It is not speculation, Your Honor. It is a summary of the evidence we are about to present. If opposing counsel would allow me to proceed, the court will see for itself.
Objection overruled. Proceed, Ms. Hayes. I'm interested to see this so-called evidence.
The judge's words hang in the air, a clear challenge to Samantha to back up her bold claims. Samantha gives a small, confident smile. This is exactly where she wants to be. She has laid the groundwork, setting the stage for the drama that is about to unfold. She has the court's attention, and she has her opponent on the back foot.
Thank you, Your Honor. Let's begin with the first piece of evidence. A collection of photographs that will establish the nature of Mr. Tanaka's infidelity.
Ayame takes a deep, steadying breath. The public unveiling of her private pain is about to begin, but she is ready. This is her moment of reckoning.
Bailiff, please display Exhibit A.
A moment later, a photograph flashes onto the large screen, bright and undeniable. It shows Daiki at a fancy restaurant, his arm wrapped around a young woman who is clearly not Ayame. They are laughing, their heads close together, a bottle of expensive champagne on the table between them. The date and timestamp in the corner of the photo is clearly visible, a date that corresponded with a business trip Daiki had supposedly taken. A collective gasp ripples through the small public gallery. Daiki's face turns a shade of pale white, his eyes wide with shock. He had no idea these photos existed. He looks like a man who has just seen a ghost.
Mr. Tanaka, can you identify the man in this photograph?
That appears to be me.
And the woman you are with? Is that your wife, Ayame?
The question is rhetorical, a dagger twisted slowly.
No.
And this business trip you were on, was this part of your official duties? Did you submit an expense report for this dinner? Because we have your company's records, and they show no such trip was authorized or reimbursed.
Another photo appears on the screen. This time it's Daiki and the same woman walking hand in hand on a moonlit beach. It's an intimate romantic scene, a picture of bliss that is a world away from the cold reality of the courtroom. Ayame looks at the photo without flinching. She has already processed this pain in private. Seeing it now only strengthens her resolve. It is a visual confirmation of every lie, every late night, every suspicious phone call. It is the proof she needed to finally break free. She feels a sense of detachment, as if watching a movie about someone else's life. The woman on the screen is no longer the victim. She is a survivor.
And this one, Mr. Tanaka? Another business meeting, perhaps? A strategy session on the beach?
The sarcasm in her voice is thick.
Objection. Counsel is badgering the witness.
He exclaims, his voice cracking with desperation.
Counselor, your client is not on the stand. Miss Hayes is presenting evidence. Sit down before I hold you in contempt for wasting this court's time.
Mr. Peterson sinks back into his chair, utterly defeated. The photographs continue to flash on the screen, each one another nail in the coffin of Daiki's credibility.
Let's move on to Exhibit B, Your Honor. A series of text messages extracted from Mr. Tanaka's phone, the one he conveniently told my client he had lost last month.
On the screen, a new image appears, a screenshot of a text message conversation. The messages are from Daiki to the same woman from the photographs. They're filled with affectionate nicknames, promises of a future together, and cruel, dismissive comments about his wife Ayame. One message stands out, stark and brutal. Don't worry about Ayame. She has no idea. I'll leave her as soon as the big deal closes. We'll be together soon, I promise. The courtroom is silent as the words hang in the air. Ayame closes her eyes for a brief moment. Reading those words for the first time had felt like a physical blow. Seeing them displayed for all to see is a different kind of pain, but also a vindication. It is the raw, unfiltered truth of her husband's betrayal, laid bare for the judge and the world. She had always suspected his excuses were thin, but the callousness of his words, the casual cruelty, was worse than anything she had imagined. She feels a wave of pity, not for herself but for the man he has become, a man so hollow he had to build his happiness on the ashes of someone else's.
She's getting suspicious. I had to buy her a stupid necklace to keep her quiet. So needy.
Samantha pauses, then looks directly at Ayame.
Ayame, do you recall receiving a necklace from your husband recently?
Ayame nods, her voice quiet but firm. Yes, for our anniversary. He said he had to work late, so he sent it by courier. He said it was a symbol of his undying love. The irony is so thick it's almost suffocating. Daiki stares at the screen, his mouth slightly agape. He looks trapped, a rat caught in a maze of his own making, with every turn leading to another dead end.
Objection. This is a violation of my client's privacy. These messages were obtained illegally.
Were they, Counselor? Miss Hayes, what is the provenance of this evidence?
Your Honor, the phone was a shared family asset, listed on a joint account paid for from marital funds. Furthermore, Mr. Tanaka left the phone, unlocked, in the marital home when he purchased a new one. My client discovered it. There is no expectation of privacy under these circumstances. It's established precedent.
Objection overruled. Your argument is as weak as your client's character, Mr. Peterson.
The judge's words are final. The truth at last is undeniable.
Now, Your Honor, we come to the financial deception. Exhibit C, the bank records.
A spreadsheet fills the screen, showing a series of transfers from Daiki and Ayami's joint savings account to a private account in Daiki's name only. The transfers are frequent and substantial, totaling over $200,000 over the last 18 months. Each transfer is followed by a large withdrawal or a payment to a luxury brand, a high-end hotel, or an expensive jewelry store. The pattern is unmistakable and damning. It is a clear and methodical siphoning of marital assets.
Mr. Tanaka has been systematically stealing from his wife. He has been liquidating their shared future to fund a lavish lifestyle with his mistress. While my client was carefully budgeting and saving, believing they were building a life together, her husband was secretly bleeding their accounts dry. He told her the market was down, that his bonuses were cut. He told her they needed to be frugal. All lies, Your Honor. Lies designed to cover his tracks while he betrayed her trust in the most fundamental way possible.
Each word is a hammer blow, dismantling Daiki's facade of the responsible husband and successful businessman.
That's not true. Those were business expenses. Investments.
He shouts, his voice echoing in the stunned silence of the courtroom.
Mr. Tanaka, I have warned you once. One more outburst and I will have you removed, and you can listen to the proceedings from a holding cell. Do you understand me?
The threat is real, and the look on the judge's face leaves no room for doubt. Daiki glares, his face red with fury, but he slumps back into his seat, silenced. He looks at his lawyer, expecting him to do something, but Mr. Peterson is staring at the spreadsheet on the screen, his face a mask of despair.
As you can see, Your Honor, these are not investments. Here is a payment of $15,000 to a jewelry store. We have the receipt. It was for a diamond bracelet, a gift we've learned for his mistress. Here is another charge for a weekend at a 5-star resort in the mountains, coinciding with the dates on the photographs we've already seen. And here, a series of cash withdrawals, all made from ATMs near the mistress's apartment. The evidence is overwhelming. This is not business. This is theft.
The cold, hard numbers on the screen tell a story more powerful than any emotional plea.
And now, Your Honor, for our final piece of evidence, Exhibit D.
The courtroom holds its breath as the evidence unfolds. The video plays, and Daiki's own voice fills the room, dripping with arrogance.
You can't prove anything, Ayame, so I had some fun. So what? What are you going to do about it?
The tension is almost unbearable as Ayame confronts him in the footage, her pain clear but her voice steady.
Our savings? Don't make me laugh. I earned that money, every penny of it. You just spent it. If I want to take some of my money and spend it on someone who actually appreciates me, that's my business. You're my wife. You're supposed to support me, not question me.
The entitlement in his words is shocking, and the real Daiki squirms in his seat, his confidence crumbling. The video continues, Ayame's voice unwavering.
Her name is Ivy, and yes, she's wonderful. She's young, she's fun, she's not a nagging bore like you've become. I'm going to leave you, Ayame, just as soon as I secure my promotion. Then you'll have nothing, you'll see.
The confession is devastating. Daiki admits to the affair, the financial deception, and his cruel intentions. When the video ends, the silence in the courtroom is so heavy it feels like it might never lift. Samantha lets the moment linger before speaking.
Your Honor, the defense rests.
With that, Samantha has closed the case, leaving Daiki broken and exposed, his arrogance replaced by a look of raw terror. The evidence, especially his own words, have sealed his fate.
Actually, Your Honor, before we rest, the prosecution calls one witness to the stand, Ivy.
A ripple of surprise moves through the courtroom. Daiki looks utterly shocked as Ivy, the woman from the photographs, steps forward, her nerves visible but her resolve clear. After being sworn in, Samantha addresses her gently.
Ivy, could you please tell the court how you know Mr. Tanaka? I met Daiki about 2 years ago. He told me he was unhappily married and that he was getting a divorce. He told you he was getting a divorce? From the beginning? Yes. He said it was just a matter of waiting for the right time. He said his wife was difficult and controlling. He told me he was setting money aside, our money he called it, so that we could start a new life together as soon as he was free. He promised me we would get married. He bought me expensive gifts, took me on trips. He made me believe we had a future.
Ivy's words reinforce every piece of evidence. Samantha presses further.
And did he ever mention his financial situation with his wife? All the time. He would complain that she spent too much money, that he had to hide his bonuses from her. He said he was moving money into a private account that she couldn't touch. He laughed about it. He called it his escape fund. He said Ayame was too naive to ever figure it out. He showed me the bank statements on his phone sometimes, bragging about how much he had managed to rescue from the joint account.
Each detail Ivy shares paints Daiki as a manipulative predator. Samantha asks the most important question.
Ivy, why are you here today? Why did you agree to testify? Because he lied to me. He lied about everything. When I found out he was still married and had no real intention of leaving his wife until it suited him, I was devastated. But when I learned how he was treating Ayame, how he was stealing from her and mocking her, I couldn't be a part of it anymore. He didn't just betray her. He betrayed me, too. He used both of us. He deserves to be exposed for the liar and the thief that he is.
Miss Ivy, isn't it true that you willingly accepted these gifts from my client? The jewelry, the vacations?
Yes, I accepted them because I was in love with him, and I believed the lies he told me. I believed we were building a life together. He told me the money was his to spend as he wished.
And you knew he was a married man. You willingly entered into a relationship with a married man. You have no morals.
Objection, Your Honor. Counsel is attacking the witness. Her morals are not on trial here today. Mr. Tanaka's actions are...
Sustained. Mr. Peterson, do you have a relevant question for this witness, or are you just here to cast aspersions? Move it along.
No further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
Mr. Peterson's efforts have only made things worse for his client. Daiki glares at him, realizing there is no defense left. The truth is out and there's nowhere to hide. Samantha rises for her closing argument, her voice steady and sure.
Your Honor, the evidence is clear. The photographs show infidelity. The text messages show intent and malice. The bank records show theft. And the video shows a confession straight from the defendant's own mouth. Finally, the testimony of a woman he manipulated corroborates everything. Ayame Tanaka is the victim of a calculated campaign of emotional and financial abuse. She deserves to be free. She deserves to have her assets restored. She deserves full custody of their child and damages for the pain she has endured. Justice for Ayame is the only possible outcome.
I have heard the arguments and reviewed the evidence presented today. Frankly, in all my years on the bench, I have rarely seen a case of such blatant and unapologetic deceit. The evidence against you, Mr. Tanaka, is not just compelling, it is overwhelming. You have not only broken your marital vows, but you have also demonstrated a profound lack of character, integrity, and basic human decency. Therefore, this court grants the divorce on the grounds of extreme cruelty and adultery. All marital assets will be awarded to the petitioner, Ayame Tanaka. Furthermore, the $200,000 you fraudulently transferred will be returned to her with interest. You will pay her legal fees and an additional $100,000 in punitive damages for emotional distress. Ms. Tanaka is granted full legal and physical custody of your child. You will have supervised visitation twice a month, pending a psychological evaluation. You are a disgrace, Mr. Tanaka.
No, you can't do this to me. That's my money. She's nothing without me. You bitch.
Order! Order in this court! Restrain that man! Add contempt of court and assault charges to his list of problems.
As Daiki is dragged from the courtroom, his shouts echo down the hall until they're cut off by a slamming door. Silence settles over the room. Ayame finally exhales, tears of relief streaming down her face as Samantha comforts her. The ordeal is over. Justice has been served, and Ayame is at last free.